You want a piece of me, boy?
Nuclear launch detected.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Starcraft 2 Nation War Season 4, brought to you by OGaming and Blizzard. Still by those two, they're amazing. We're getting ready for the last match of Group Korea, and it's going to be between Korea and, well, not Brazil. Somebody is slacking on the job, and it wasn't... Well, actually, it is Brazil. Damn it, what am I doing?
It's
I just don't know where the Korean flag is, but... Oh,
I went out of frame.
we've got it.
Oh my god.
That doesn't matter. We need to get the flags. Getting the flags is very, very important. It's going to be a fun match. Kalazur just showed us that he's capable of great things. But he's not alone, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, Master actually took a game, and it was in a pretty decent fashion, almost like a second game, too. So I don't know if he can do it against anyone from Korea. Actually, if they send out Zest first, I don't think Zest is doing very well at all lately. I think also Master could take him in a PvP, but I guess we have to actually wait and see who comes out
I mean,
first.
if you would have said that a year ago, like
Yeah,
I think
right?
that Master from Brazil has a good shot against Zest, like people would have... They would have just lynched you on stream. They were like, we're done with you, Zombie Grub. You know absolutely nothing about StarCraft. But it's crazy. Zest has indeed just not been looking good. And if somebody like Patak can take him out, why wouldn't the Brazilians be able to do it?
Yeah, exactly. Here, of course, is the Korean team. Innovation, Zest, and Beyond. Beyond still looking on fire. Innovation still looking good. Zest, though.
He's looking good in the picture.
Well, he looks amazing. I mean, that's true. But no, like every single game he's played, he has lost.
Actually, I would really like to see Zest come out first there. Obviously, we don't know that yet, but looking at this lineup, I really feel that Zest needs something going for himself. He needs to build a little bit of momentum. And if Zest can just give up a strong card over here, you know, and all kill the Brazilian lineup, that would be great. Would be fun for all the Zest fans out there as well. We know there are plenty of them. And I think that normally, like, if Zest just brings his A game, he should be able to do it. And it would be fun. But it's going to be hard, as these young men from Brazil have proven to be excellent players.
Yeah, Master taking a game and almost second one last series. But Eric not really getting to show why Kelazur was so confident in him. Maybe they sent him out first here. Apparently his pros were pretty good. But Kelazur, I guess, is always the man of the hour and whatnot. He looks great versus Zerg, but there aren't any Zergs on the Korean team. There are 2 Terrans and a Protoss, but he does have a lot of experience with those Terrans, so he just needs to fix a couple of things.
Of course, we want to hear what you guys have to say out there. Hashtag NW4. Let us know who you think is going to win, if you're enjoying the games, if you're excited to see some of the Korean players in action. And, of course, we can always get the prediction game going as well. Yep. South Korea is... What's the abbreviation? Hashtag?
Core, right?
Oh, hashtag core. Okay, well, that makes sense. And then our hashtag bra win if you think that Brazil is going to cause a massive upset. I mean, we've had a couple of upsets. I think the previous Nation War was already a small upset, with Brazil taking out Sweden. But if this happens, we're going to jump in the center because it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. I'll lose my mind, apparently. Let's see. I actually think it's totally possible. Korea just hasn't looked as strong as their lineup, as everyone said their lineup looked this year. Everyone said, like, last year's lineup was kind of, this year's so much better. Well, not so far, actually.
They haven't. They have definitely not been as dominating as we thought they were going to be. But before we're going to head over to the first games, we're going to have a small interview with Team Brazil. So, guys, take it away.
Hello guys, and thank you Roddy and Zombie. We're getting ready for the interview with the Brazilian team because obviously Korea can't really talk with us at the moment. So we will get the interview going when Kalazur is ready. Really cool game from Kalazur, a really cool best of 7. He's already here, as I can tell from the transition. Sup, Diego?
What's up, Funka?
Not much. I was just astonished by how good you are, man. So sick. That was a cool best of 7 from you guys, and even Master getting the win. That was cool. Did you anticipate that?
I can't say I anticipated, but it wasn't completely out of expectations. Like, I believe in my team.
What's going on with the Americas, man? Canada qualified. We've got Mexico doing well, USA, and now Brazil. Like, what's going on? Is the level on the server stepped up and you guys are taking over, or?
I guess everyone just emigrated to Korea server and improved so much over this time that every country has a sick player in an A. But I don't know if I can keep the norm against Korea.
But NA better than Europe now, or?
And TVZ, sure.
Justin TVZ, you're being you know, a little bit quiet here. You could have said NA over EU, and we wouldn't have been able to say anything, considering the performances of those teams. Going back to the game you played against sort of. That was a really cute build. Did you prepare it for him especially, or did you prepare it for the map more than him?
It's mostly against the map, but it's also because EU Zergs, they never open Muta, or almost never. So you can just open, you can abuse their weakness, kind of. And I just thought of that against sort of.
All right. Well, obviously that was pretty great from you. And so this time, not that many Zergs to face, 2 Terrans and a Protoss. Is there like? Obviously, it's weird to say, but it seems like Zest might be the weakest link in Korea. Do you think you guys will have no problem whatsoever beating Zest?
Yeah, I think Zest is the least of our concerns right now.
Mm-hmm. And who's the biggest concern then? John or Eno?
I think but they're both amazing.
How's your TVT?
It's awful. It's my worst matchup.
Rip.
All right, then cast your state. No, just.
Did you have a last question?
No, like just, do you guys have a particular plan for this? Have you actually tried to prepare for South Korea, or were you just focusing on the match versus Sweden going to today's matches?
I actually didn't prepare whatsoever for Sweden. I just prepared for Korea. I brought up a couple new things up my sleeves, so.
Do you talk to other players like Major and stuff to try and come up with things together that might be good against these guys? Because there's a lot of good Terrans also that I know, like you're friendly with.
Yeah, I'm friends with most Terrans, so it's always nice to have people backing me up, and I can always go to them for help.
All right, getting some help from a Major would be quite a good idea, considering how well he did yesterday. We'll be finishing this interview with first. What would be the outcome for you? What's your prediction in terms of score?
Well, I have to say we're gonna win, right? Confidence is everything.
You can say whatever you want.
Well, obviously it's gonna be 4-3, and it's gonna be the hardest series of our lives.
All right, and. To achieve that 4-3 victory, who will be the first player for Brazil?
First player will be Master.
All right, and Master will have to play against the machine Innovation, who will be the first player getting thrown out from Korea. So I guess, Kalazur, good luck, have fun.
Thank you, Franco.
Thank you, mate.
He's so calm.
Calm and quiet and so nice at the same time.
You know who I wish we could see? Master. When you told him that he has to face Innovation, I would have loved to see his face.
Damn. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe he would have liked to face Zest. And that's pretty dumb to say, but yeah, Zest really has been the weakest link, and it might be the easier player to take down. But this time it's going to be Innovation as the first player. So PVT series. Sorry, between Master and Eno. And guys, take it away.
Thank you, Fonka and Johan. Always nice to hear a couple of words from Diego. He's so soft and quiet and, composed, well-spoken. But he just did something great. Like, I would be dancing through the living room. Like, if I was just able to defeat Team Sweden almost by myself. I mean, Massa played great, but I'd be doing a couple of handstands, and I haven't done those since 4th grade.
Yeah, I can't really imagine Kelzer ever doing that, though. I imagine the most we get was like this really nice, just like, I did well.
I think sometimes right after he finishes a game, he does show emotions.
It's true.
During live events,
booth,
fist pumps and everything. But a couple of minutes later, he's already calmed down. Take a look at the predictions. I definitely did not predict 5-4. I don't know what you guys are on about, but that's not what I predicted. I have not been doing that well over the last few days, but I'm not digging my own grave. Todd is actually thinking 4. Did I predict 4-2? I'm pretty sure I predicted 4-0. I think you guys are wrong. I said 4-0.
I believe you. Okay. So obviously Todd and Funka, I guess, well, Todd has a lot of faith in Brazil, like a lot of faith. And then Funka has some more faith than us, I suppose, in Brazil too. I really thought if Zest came out, then that would be their one loss. That's why I did the 4-1. But if it's Innovation, it might just be a 4-0.
Yeah, it's cool to see Innovation starting today. We made some jokes the other day. So obviously it's quite late in Korea and the moment that this is being played. I mean, right now it's 7 p.m. over here. So it's somewhere middle of the night, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that. And maybe Innovation is sick and tired of waiting for all this. He's like, you know what, let me just get started and I'll get this over with. And you guys go get some rest for tomorrow and then make sure that you actually show up in the quarterfinals. Apparently, the Twitter universe thinks that Brazil is going to take out Korea. Guys, if that happens, I'll jump in the Seine. I mean it.
Jump in the sand?
Yeah, no, the Seine, the river in Paris.
Oh.
The Seine, however they say it.
I had no idea that was the name of it. So.
Yeah.
I learn everything.
It's pretty cold right now, but I'd do it as a tribute to Brazil, tribute to Kelazur, Master, and Eric.
Love to see that, actually.
Yeah. With a baguette in my hand.
Oh, don't waste a good baguette.
No, I wouldn't. I'll keep it afloat.
Okay.
Let's be serious. 4-0 for Korea now. Hashtag NW4. Well, that's going to be hard. I do think it's possible. I mean, once again, I think any point that Brazil gets here would be very impressive. And if they make it close, even close, whether they win or lose, I'd be blown away.
Some math going on here. 60% of the time, Brazil is going to win every time.
Okay. I feel like I'm missing a meme here. Is there a meme behind that?
I'm not sure. No, I'm pretty sure that sentence is like a meme in general, but I actually have no idea where it came from. Okay. But I don't know where the 60%. Maybe that's because the fans are voting on Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah, it was 55 at first. Maybe he Googled it before we showed it. He's ahead of the meta. We've been getting quite a few tweets today, but keep them coming. Hashtag NW4. Let us know if you're watching from Brazil. Show us some Brazilian flags or soccer jerseys or anything. I can't believe I just called it soccer. I should be ashamed of myself. Football.
Oh, boy. Yeah. It's because they're next to me, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn Americans.
We're addressing an American audience over here. 4 years of living in the U.S. has been catching up to me. But yeah, show us the passion. I know that there is a Brazilian scene out there. I know they're actually very passionate. Every single time I went to Sao Paulo for an Inter Extreme Master, something like that. It was always very fun to interact with the fans.
Cool.
So I want to see the passion on Twitter, guys. But for now, let's not wait any longer. The first map is going to be played on Echo, as you guys could see, and could be possibly witness perhaps the greatest upset we've seen so far in StarCraft 2 Nation War Season 4, other than Patek.
Well, in the bottom right for Brazil, start things off, it is the Red Protoss, Master.
Show him what you've got, Master. Show him some of those NA specialties that can only be developed and delivered on the North American server. Over here on the left top side of Echo, looking at the main base, the man, the machine. He likes to introduce himself as, I am Innovation.
Of course, Innovation is probably the big boss of the Korean team, even though everyone thought that every single person on the Korean team is going to be the big boss. Zest has been kind of disappointing, and I guess Byeon, I feel like Byeon also would have been okay coming out first. I don't think he would have any objections against it, but I actually think that Byeon is a little more in tune with the North American scene, and like is actually probably, he was joking around with Kelazur, obviously, the 2 days ago when they played. He might actually be like, you know what, Kelazur might have me in mind, so let's just send Innovation first and let him tango with him.
Or they're having a pro bet with each other. And Innovation looked at the amount of time it took Beyond to all-kill Brazil, and he said, I think I can beat your record. Yeah. And this is going to try to steamroll them all in 7-minute games.
7-minute games each. Fastest 4-0 ever. Maybe that's it. But we do have, of course, just standard builds coming out right now. Actually, an SEV Scout, not a Reaper coming out here, followed by Marine. Misses a probe.
He's going to raise the depot. Yes, he will. So this probe is pretty dead. It's very unlikely that Innovation is going to mess up. He sprayed.
I wanted something to do and realized tag was the only thing he could do.
I wish you could spray over the Marine and just could color his suit. It's a red Marine. It's like, he's the odd one out. That would be very fun, actually.
That actually would be a fun addition to the sprays.
A little bit of paintball, No, at least there was a small scout by this Marine. You didn't see a whole lot, but you know that there was a Marine and the reactor was being built. I'm very curious to see what we get from Master here, right? Like, if you're Master right now, you're in Master's shoes, and you're like, alright, it's a best of one against arguably the best or second best Terran in the world. What am I gonna do? Do I really want to sit back and try to defend and just play better than my opponent? Like, is that realistic? Or should I think a little bit outside of the box, have a solid opening, but then counter very hard with a one-punch attack?
Yeah, I think it's very hard for anyone to go up against a machine like Innovation. But like, I feel like unless you're already pretty comfortable going for cheeses and weird stuff, you're just gonna have to like look at it and be like, yeah, I could try and bring up something weird or all linny, but that's not really what I'm used to. So I'm just gonna try and not make a fool out of myself and play a macro game, which I don't think is a bad idea either. If you can get to a certain stage in a macro game, you can sort of feel like, I would say kind of confident. Like, I haven't died to Innovation's drops. I haven't died to, like, a Cyclone build. I have, like, 180 supply. Maybe I can get a good position here. Like, that could happen.
And Echo is one of these maps, indeed, where if you make it throughout the early game and you don't take too much damage, it's kind of nice to just stabilize on 3 bases, have a couple of Stalkers, maybe a natural Mothership Core in the main, army at the turret, and you should not take a whole lot of damage. Now, once again, that's not when you go up against Innovation. It's going to be very hard for Master to truly have a good feel of how a man like Innovation plays, because you just don't play against players like Innovation on the North American scene. I like the opening. He's going to bring back the Dark Templar drop, just like we saw Zest do the other day. It's really funny, a build that was very popular in the early stages of 2016.
Whoa.
And even in 2015. It kind of fell off lately, but I like this, you know, it's a little different and could potentially catch Innovation off guard.
Why are there 3 Tech Labs in the production tab instead of Tech Lab times 3? Isn't that what it usually is?
That's actually...
That's a... I was going to say, initially, I've never seen 3 Tech Labs all at once here for this build. Usually the reactor's somewhere, but then also I think the production tab hasn't seen it yet either.
Uh-oh. Unfortunately, the Stalkers are a little bit out of position. Is he going to drop Photon Overcharge? Well, even if he is... No, what did he
Oh, jeez.
Okay, could have been worse. It's only 3 workers for now. And actually, Innovation is convinced that there is an observer nearby, so he's going to unborrow the mines. He still has no idea about the Dark Shrine, by the way. Where's that War Prism? Okay, it's leaving right now. If this Prism shows up, I mean, there is an eBay, but 3 Dark Templars, they can cause havoc.
Yeah, this could actually be really nice damage. Wouldn't Drop's going to come in again, but there is actually an Observer in the natural, so it shouldn't deal too much damage, as long as Master's paying any amount of attention to Photon Overcharges.
Yeah,
but these DTs, man, like...
He switched that one Tech Lab, he left it, and now he built the reactor, which also means the reactor is a little bit late. Unfortunately, the first missile turret is already going down, so maybe Innovation is expecting something. He's going to be able to get one more probe, and he will identify that there is indeed a Dark Shrine. So if he wasn't sure yet, he's definitely very sure right now.
Yeah. That's pretty unfortunate. I mean, where is that? Okay, the War Prism just comes in, but he was already saving a scan just in case that timing was going to be hit. And he was right. It was a Dark Shrine. Get the SCV. Leave.
But there is one No!
What?
Unfortunately, one DT does get picked off. There is a... Oh my god, it's a disaster. There's a missile turret there as well. At least one DT makes it out, but this was obviously not what Master was hoping for. Gotta give credits to Innovation, though, for having that first missile turret ready and getting the good follow-up scout.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like Master miscontrolled once, and then in a panic, trying to regain his control, like, just miscontrolled more, basically. That was really awkward to that War Prism. But, of course, the Innovation with Marines and the Natural was also a bit of a surprise, and this is just an unfortunate opener for Master.
Yeah, Stim is going to finish up now, and Combat Shield is going to finish up as well, including +1 attack. So 2 more senses. This is going to be a very difficult hold. It's just Stalkers, and Stalkers are pretty good if they start on the other side of the map and you pick off 5-6 Marines before the army shows up. But since Blink was quite late because he opened up with Dark Templars, I'm actually afraid that this is going to be a very, very difficult hold for Master. And if he doesn't die here, I'll be very impressed.
Yeah, that Immortal is also going to be like free pickings. The Sentries really can't help out with that, so it is going to get KO'd immediately. And these Stalkers have no micro whatsoever. There's like 10 seconds left on Blink. This is going to be it.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate moment for Master to be attacked. Of course, kudos to Innovation, who's gonna... We mentioned 7-minute games in the beginning of this game. Well, this one, it's going to be very close to it, if not slightly below, as Innovation will win the first game in a little less than 7 minutes after excellent defense against the Dark Templars and just walked across the map and he won.
That was a very good guess, 7 minutes. It's almost extremely on point there. Yeah, I really feel like Brazil was hoping Zest would be thrown out again. You know, maybe... I mean, he was thrown out first 2 days ago, so it's not like a bad guess. But now I think Zest is just like, he's done like playing, especially online, like different servers. I think he really hates that, and just is like, nah, Innovation, go for it. Innovation did. Obviously had no trouble whatsoever against this Protoss player, and I don't know. Do you save Kellezer for last, or do you send him out now?
Yeah, Diego was pretty vocal about his dislike of TVT at the moment. He said it was his weakest matchup. But on the other hand, I mean, you don't really have much of a choice because besides Innovation, there is Beyond as well. I think it depends a little bit on the map. We don't know the map yet. Sometimes we get a little paper. This time we don't have a little paper. So I don't know which map it is, but obviously I don't necessarily know which maps Diego likes a little more for TVT and which maps he likes less.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe you try Eric, throw him out there and see if Eric can make something happen against the machine. I mean, Patak did it. So.
Patak did it. Scarlet did it.
Yeah, okay.
You know, Innovation a little
I
bit.
mean, but like Scarlet is like, okay, that was awesome to watch, but that doesn't, you know, it does surprise us a little bit, but at the same time, we all know that she's capable of it.
Yeah.
Patak, on the other hand, was like, what are we watching? This man is on fire.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to be able to get... Well, Patak actually was killed by Innovation.
Yeah, that's
so
right. He beat Beyond. So.
Yeah, exactly. Beyond was trying something a little bit different like 2 weeks ago now, and it didn't work out. But yeah, I don't know. That would be quite a tall order for Eric, but it might just be better, especially if Kellezer does not like that map. I really think it's unfortunate. We didn't ask him in the interview like who he was prepping for when it came to TVT, because I feel like he would have had a better chance prepping for Beyond, again, having played him before, having some replays to look at and whatnot. But maybe the same tricks he was talking about would work against the other Terran, Innovation.
Yeah, well, as soon as we know, we'll let you know. We can continue Brazil versus Korea. Of course, we all still expect Korea to make it out. It would be a massive upset if that didn't happen. Would have been great for Brazil to get a cheeky 1-0 lead here. I would have loved to see a proxy Void Ray. Why not? Bring it back, you know? Yeah, no, just go crazy. Why not? I mean, it's Innovation. It's like, it's one shot. Everything to win. Who's it going to be? It will be Eric or Kellezer. Eric.
All right, then. So either Kellezer just wants to save himself for possibly, if Eric could get a win against Innovation, they'd bring up Beyond, or he didn't like the map. Not sure, but Eric...
What's nice here as well is that even when Kellezer then finally comes out, he's going to be the last player for Brazil regardless, and then he can also immediately revive himself. And sometimes that's nice, right? If you lose, you can immediately have a shot at redemption. You don't have to wait until somebody else plays. They set up those lobbies, takes 20 minutes. Meanwhile, you're beating yourself up. It's like, I shouldn't have done this. Sometimes it's nice to just get into the next game immediately, so maybe that's the thought process behind it.
I can certainly see that. Like, you make that one mistake, and you're like, just give me the next game so I can recover from that mistake, man. I can certainly see that. But Eric, I don't know what's going through his mind right now. It's probably one of the only times he'll ever have to face Innovation, which is, I mean, it's kind of cool. If you're like playing an online cup, you just consider it an honor. But of course, lots on the line here.
Eric did make it to WESG. I'm not exactly sure who is in his group. The map that we are going to see is Daybreak. I can actually take a look at the group of Eric, who had a good showing at the North and South American qualifier for WESG, which was played in Sao Paulo, by the way. We'll take a look at his group soon. If I recall correctly, he was in one of the earlier groups. I don't think he had one of the Korean Terrans. I mean, TY is going to be there, Maru is going to be there. So maybe he's been practicing for weeks already because he wants to win 200k in China and he's ready to take out some Korean Terrans. We don't know. What I do know is that he's a lovely young man and he is a very good player, but so far hasn't been able to truly show it yet in Nation Wars. Could this be his game? It's Eric.
And in the bottom left, as the blue Terran for South Korea, he is Innovation. He is. Innovation is, it's a hard guy to really even think about catching off guard, too. Everyone calls him a robot, and that's certainly not always true. I mean, Scarlet caught him off guard with being in the middle of the map with a bunch of Lings and Banelings. Certainly a couple of his funnier builds have just been caught off guard as well. But I don't know. It's you don't see much mental destabilization from Innovation, and Eric would have to do something really weird to catch Innovation off guard or get him tilted.
Eric is actually in a group with two Terrans, the Muslim and XY, so maybe he's been practicing a little bit. Talking or referring to an upcoming tournament in China, a very big one. Well, we will see Eric in action as well, so if 2 out of the 5 opponents in your group are Terran, then I assume that you are at least putting in a couple of hours, because it would be massive for Eric if he's able to upset one of those 2 Terrans.
Yeah, that would have been really good. I don't know, he was sent out first in the last series, and Kellezer seemed really confident, so I wondered if maybe Eric was just focusing completely on TVZ. Unfortunately, didn't get to show it. That would kind of, suck as they go up against South Korea, which is definitely most well known for their Terrans right now. But we'll see if he can show anything. Any of his practice has really paid off. We have a very early Roach Warren.
Yeah. That is a super early Roach Warren, so Eric might try to do something funky. Yeah, maybe he was looking at Eleza yesterday and Nurture as well, and he's like, I kind of like these little rushes. I can see some potential in there. The Lynx actually avoided the Reaper as well. This was that best case scenario, because now there is no Marine on the map, and this is actually very frustrating for Innovation. This is going to delay the CC quite a bit, and also forces the Reaper to turn around, which means the Reaper will not get the scout off on the Roach Warren.
Yeah, this was pretty ideal. If he had gone for a Marine first like he did last game, that still would have been okay, as they might have taken care of the Lings, but obviously it wouldn't have scouted the Roach Warren. So Eric is getting exactly what he would want from this build. Would have won actually the SCV. That would be perfect.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's probably not going to happen unless Innovation would make a slip up here. But still, look at the amount of time that this CC has been delayed. I think this CC would have been done otherwise. I mean, that's like 25 seconds delayed. And now all these roaches are already on the production tab. Well, Innovation has absolutely no idea that this is coming.
Yeah. Is he going to add any Lings on here? Is he really going to just go like the full all-in? Maybe. He's actually getting more supply here. He's going to scout the lack of a third base, so we do have Lings on the production tab now. I'm going to be able to see maybe a Roach?
Oh, but okay, the Reaper did see.
Okay.
It's going to see that Roach as well. So Innovation knows now, but what do? I think the best case... Okay, he's just going to lift up. I assume he's going to lift the CC. No, he's actually going to try to defend on the low ground. That's a little bit risky. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. It absolutely is not, and I'm sure that Innovation knows what he's doing. He did get a scout off, at least at a reasonable amount of time, but so he has a little bit of time to prepare. But this is still risky. I think a safer version would have been to just temporarily avoid the low ground.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he saw him pull the SCVs up initially, so I was thinking maybe he just wants to buy time, let Eric poke at the command center a little bit before lifting it, but now he's going to try and hold it and maybe produce SCVs from it. There's not a lot of repair on that bunker, and the Lynx came here too.
Well, he was able to avoid the bow a little bit, but at the same time a couple of SCVs did fall. That bunker is starting to run quite low on HP, but he does have a Marauder on the low ground, and that's actually still quite a few Marines. That corrosive ball did connect, but now a new Marauder shows up. Where are the additional Lynx? I would have loved to see Eric try to be a little more cautious with his Lynx, because I felt Innovation had a pretty good time just sniping those Lynx down at first.
Yeah. If this was only the Roaches and Ravagers, 7 SCVs would be fantastic, plus the bunker loss, but since he also followed up with Lings and continued following up with Lings, I still think he has to do a bit more damage.
He's probably hoping that it was going to be a Hellion opening and there were not any Marauders to worry about. He's just going to try to jump on top of it. The Lynx make this a little bit more tricky for these Marauders to really deal with the Ravagers, but in the end, Innovation doing a good job in avoiding those balls. And right now, Eric is forced to start going back into drone production. And like you said, if this was just a couple of Roaches and Ravagers, then we'd say like, this is very playable. But now with Stim almost done already, it's going to be hard.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, if he could have gotten into Stim, like that would have been extreme. If he was able to actually take out the army as well, that would have been good too. But his army still alive. It has Stim. Not sure. Okay, he's going to use it against the Lings, caught in the ramp here. Can't retreat though. It's got to go into the Ravagers, which isn't bad, but okay, he took out some of the army there. Maybe the drop isn't going to be so potent, but it's still a Terran that's pretty far ahead tech-wise.
This is going to be very tricky for Eric, who's just now starting his layer.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't have too many queens either, because he's been putting most of his resources into these units early on. And obviously there's a lot of micro potential in these bio units with Stim and 2 medevacs, while Eric, he can't really do much.
I thought maybe 20, 30 Lings have gone down, but no, 40 Lings have gone down. That is a lot of larvae not going into drones, and Eric's still not at a good drone count at all, and really will not have a response to the medevacs flying around. Innovation can wait as long as he wants, to be honest. He knows his economy, like, he lost 7 SCVs, but he still got 2 mules, and of course double SCV production. I think he knows he's in a very good position. All he has to really do is wait for combat shields.
Yeah, it's not truly about the worker count at the moment. It's more about the worker count in a minute or two, once Innovation is going to be able to land those first drops and he's going to be able to trade a little bit. I think it's going to be incredibly hard for Eric. I do kind of like that he's actually staying on 2 hatcheries now. I think that's a lot better, because defending all 3 locations, especially if you don't even have creep connecting your bases, was going to be borderline impossible with his slow roaches and just Zerglings, no Baneling nest. So I kind of like that he's staying on 2 bases, because that at least makes any sort of defense very doable.
Yeah. In fact, Innovation anticipates a third base, at least attempted. Is going to find nothing, but then probably Stim a Marine and go and see exactly what the army looks like. It's not the worst army, but it is only roaches, so a couple pokes and just micro, and he can take out a couple of the Ravagers, and yeah, if he really wants to, he can just pick up and go somewhere else.
A couple of Lings are going to try to see if there is an opportunity for a counter, but Innovation closed the door. He's been watching some Game of Thrones, taking notes. He knows
Close
what's
the
up.
door. Hold the door.
No, but he was already closed.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spoil it, you know.
Well, the third CC is now on the way. We got a Liberator coming out to do some harassments, and of course, Innovation is going to pair up the rest of his army with the one that he already dropped. I think he could snipe that base if he really wanted to and still get out of there, but let's just wait.
Yeah, I was wondering if Eric was going to do something super funky, maybe even try some sort of a night attempt, which obviously is not an ideal scenario because already Stim is done and multiple Marauders are out and stuff. But he's actually, no, he's just going to try to macro up, make more Roaches, make more Ravages. He's currently down in workers already, and that's not normally where you want to be. He needs to keep this base alive at all costs, and he should be able to because he has quite a few Roaches here in the mix. But Innovation is actually having a ball. He's just going to snipe down these Roaches, even though he didn't have an upgrade advantage. And these couple of Marauders with the 4 Medivac support will stand strong, and that could actually be the end for Eric.
I think that was the real kicker, was the fact there was 4 Medivacs and 4 Marauders as opposed to just Marines, which we usually see early on in the game. Gets a couple of the last Ravagers there, but has to pick up, and the third base lives, but Innovation is now 6 SCVs ahead with his own third CC almost done.
And 1-1 upgrades finishing up as well. I mean, there is +1 missile attack, so in the end, maybe it's not that bad for Eric, but it just seems so hard to get out of the phase that he's currently in, right? And it's just Roaches, and where are you going to take it? He really needs to magically find some openings. Maybe some burrow play could be a great comeback mechanic, but if he's just going to sit back and try to make more Roaches, more Ravages, I think it's going to be incredibly difficult against the soon-to-be real army of Innovation.
Yeah, I would love to see Infestors if he had a decent enough economy, but I do think he would need to be at least at 50 drones to try and reach that far, which he still isn't adding on like any more drones currently. He realizes he lost a good chunk of his army in that fight, and still like 20 supply ahead is like an okay start, but against Medivacs, against upgrades,
It's going to be hard as the units were a little bit out of position, and the hatchery takes a lot of damage. Innovation actually having a lot of units in that one Medivac that was super low in HP. It would have been great for Eric if he was able to snipe that Medivac with a ball, but obviously Innovation is a little too good for that. He's not going to sit there and absorb those balls. The Liberator is actually causing quite a few issues in the natural.
Yeah, 6 more drones go down, on top of the fact that Eric really hadn't been droning for quite some time and was pretty low. He's trying to replace some now. Well, he loses 2 more. Not too great there. Just, of course, lost mining time as well, and Eric cannot really get out of these Roaches. At least he's upgrading them. 2-1 is on the way.
He's just not mining enough at the moment, being down 18 workers. Ooh, cross a ball. That would have been sweet. A couple of Lings going to try to be annoying on the other side of the map, but Innovation has a lot of units over here as well. The main base, there are a few Roaches and Ravages to push this drop back for now, but the numbers don't lie, and well, everything speaks in favor of Innovation, even though Eric does... Well, that would be great. He gets a Medivac, that's something.
Yeah, it is something. Innovation oddly stopping, and it's just kind of weird, but it is only something. Innovation has his 2-2 about halfway done, and of course his army is really starting to just... It's starting to match Eric's, and Eric only being on Roaches, not a good sign.
Maybe with a couple of like sweet Karasa balls, somehow get a Medivac. Maybe Innovation not paying attention for a split second like he did against Scarlet as well in the game he played on Neilkirk Precinct. That would be fantastic for Eric, but he needs to get lucky. The Winter Mines are not burrowed yet. Kind of looks like he's getting a decent trade here, but there is a lot of firepower in these Marines and a few Marauders that are in the back as well. Meanwhile, the hatchery died on the other side of the map, and Innovation, despite the fact that he's losing 10, 13, 16 SCVs now actually, will be able to defend at home as well. And let's not forget about those 2-2 upgrades that are about to finish up.
Yeah, initially it looked a little bit promising for Eric, but once you realize that wasn't the entirety of Innovation's army, it once again looks quite grim, as the rest of Innovation's army is going into the natural now and killing equal amounts of workers.
Yep, this army, this drop has been active since the very get-go. Those Marauders have been real MVPs. They've been taking out a lot of Roaches. GG, Innovation secures the 2-0 lead for South Korea, and the machine is not messing around today.
No, he's not. This has been easy peasy 2-0, to be honest. Something that Innovation, I think, expected himself. As you said, he wants to get the fastest 4-0 possible. I think Eric actually managed to make that like, what, a 9-minute?
Yeah, that was 9 minutes and a bit. Closing in on 10, unfortunately, wasn't able to break into the double digits.
Oh,
which,
wow.
I mean, that goes for most people. So, I mean, I still like the idea, and I thought he had a promising start with the Lynx avoiding the Reaper, pulling the Reaper out of position. I think on a moment like this, maybe it's better to let the Marines focus on the Roaches first, bring the Lynx in just a tiny bit later, because that corrosive bow actually did connect with a whole bunch of SCVs.
Yeah.
But I also think it's safe to say that he's hoping for a different build, right, from Innovation. He's hoping for Hellions. He's not hoping for super early Marauders.
Yeah, exactly. I think he was definitely hoping for some of 1-1-1 or maybe the Cyclone build that sometimes Innovation shows, but it was not a great start. I think also the addition of the Lings, he was really hoping Innovation might have like underestimated what he was doing. Thought like, oh, I saw this yesterday. Like it's just going to be the Roaches, but the Lings weren't enough of a surprise. And as you said, maybe it would have been better just keeping them back a little bit longer.
Yeah, as the Marines in that bunker were safe and sound, they were going to be able to take out those Lings very quickly. The reveal, well, it's not much of a reveal. There's only one man left for Brazil, and that's going to be Calazur, and there's a good chance we're going to see him more than once, whether he wins or loses, because he is their ace player.
Yeah.
He's got one hell of a mountain to climb. Keep the tweets coming. Is there anybody out there that think that Calazur can go for their, well, not necessarily yet reverse all kill, but almost, and he definitely has to do it all by himself against Korea, or does nobody believe? Hashtag NW4. We're going to head over to a very small break, and after that, we'll be back with Calazur versus Innovation.
Brazil versus South Korea is the match we're into, and at the moment Brazil not doing so well with a 2-0 deficit against the machine, Innovation.
Yeah, if this was football, the roles probably would be reversed, but in Starcraft, Koreans are pretty darn good. What is this face you're making?
No problem. Don't ask. Don't ask. Be okay with it. Be okay with your co-caster being a little weird. It's okay.
If I wasn't okay, I wouldn't be casting with you.
Yes. And you actually pushed all you could do to get that cast going with me, so I'm really happy with this.
Kappa
HD.
Kelazur time though, the ace with potentially 2 lives here will go up against Korea and has to put in some serious work, because so far it's been the Innovation show. He finally was fed up with Zest losing maps and Björn failing at times as well. He was like, you know what, just send me out first, just shut up and let me do the work.
You know I never fail, and I will get that win once again. Vanny Research Station is actually the same map that Kelazur and... it was Beyond. It was not even Innovation, but Kelazur actually revealed one of his strategies on this map, and it was... drumroll. Reapers, obviously. Reapers from our Brazilian player. We'll see if he goes for the same kind of strategy. And considering that early gas and a really, really quick scouts, it should be along the same lines. For Brazil, he is the last hope. Calazur.
And this Terran player in blue, a lot of people call him the machine. It is, of course, Innovation!
Playing the best he ever played on Legacy of the Void recently with his recent win in IEM Gyeonggi, and the way he did it too, like super clean and controlled all the way until the finals where actually crushed 4-0. So yeah, definitely a good period of time for Innovation, and Kelazur obviously has a tall order ahead of him, and we'll try to get a little bit of damage going with a proxy Reaper to start things off, but not a second Rax, not a triple Rax at the moment. He will transition instantly with the factory proxy as well.
Okay, things are gonna get crazy there. Innovation's been streaming quite a bit, and his stream is super entertaining, and he smashes people basically all day on it. Like I feel like every time I've tuned in, I've seen him just wreck people. I almost feel like they should be like a disclaimer, you know, like. Not even like you should be 18 and plus, it should be like you're about to watch a machine brutalize professional gamers in the most brutal of ways. Press OK to enter. Like
and he does it obviously on the strongest server and at the top level, because I believe like
really on America?
because he's hovering between the 1st and 5th place, I believe, in the Grandmasters League. So that's a proxy reactor factory. That will be double Cyclone, and this is new meta.
Give him a taste of his own medicine. He's been making so many of these guys against Zerg. It's time to see if Kelazur can punish Innovation with some of his own beloved Cyclones there in a second, and there's going to be 2 Reapers missing from that fight here potentially because Innovation's moving across the map with those.
Yes, and there's going to be 2 Cyclones and 2 Marines to attack against the lone Cyclone from Innovation, but at the same time, Calazur obviously has no units at the opposite side of the map, so virtually those Reapers would be able to destroy everything, but with the swap around of those 2 add-ons, the wall is even open. Why is Calazur targeting him down? Probably trying to get a supply block going on for himself, but he should fight right now. There's only 1 Cyclone, and as I mentioned, the 2 Reapers could be creating chaos at the opposite side of the map, but he's actually going back with them, playing the safest strategy here.
SCV is dying incredibly fast here against Cyclones. The 2 Reapers haven't come back yet from the Innovation. He's going to lose in 1 Cyclone here in the back. Landing some grenades here. But there's 3 Cyclones now for Calazur, and even though Banshee might come out, I don't even know if it's going to do that much because he can get targeted down pretty fast.
That all-in is so sick. That proxy strategy with the double Cyclone production will take the lone Cyclone remaining. There's no cloak on that soon-to-be out Banshee, but the surround is full with those SCVs. But look at this, 24 SCVs against 7. He will get out, or he will get all those SCVs before actually losing all of his Cyclones. That Banshee will rule the sky for a moment, but with no cloak, he will get targeted down.
Yeah, and behind this, we've got an eBay underway here for Calazur. He's covering all of his bases. He's going to be chasing a little bit on that Banshee here, turning around, making sure he keeps that alive. 25 SCVs to 5. How is Innovation supposed to come back in this? I think he's been outdone here in this game.
Oh yeah, totally. Didn't see that all-in coming. Probably anticipated something along the lines of Reapers, which is highly defendable when you go for that gas first that he went for. But that double Cyclone, probably the first time that he sees that strategy being played, and it's played against him. And at the moment, there's nothing he can do. And to be honest, with like 22 SCVs less than his opponent, even if that Banshee deals a tremendous amount of damage, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Innovation taps out. Calazur. All right.
What a beast with a sick proxy. Right. And just like that, the tables have turned. This is what happens here. When Calazur comes prepared, he said he was preparing for Korea. And I was wondering, actually, like what approach he might take to playing this match. Guess what? Sick proxy. Like, I feel proxy. Like good luck laddering TVT because everybody's going to be going for this. It's going to be a base trade with Cyclones against Marines, against Cyclones against Marines now.
Then when you think about it, it is a great strategy. Like the thing is, it takes a long time to hit, but then you've got super close to your opponent's ramp. You've got double Cyclones, and in early game, thanks to the recent buff to Cyclones do about everything. They will do well against any units on the ground that your opponent decides to go for.
They know.
They know Brazil is about to win. Well, at least take a couple of maps. I would consider 2 maps.
Innovation won the 2 maps I predicted Korea was going to take, and now it's Calazur's show.
Oh, you did say 4 took Brazil.
Yeah.
Crazy. What's going on with you?
You know those people that like go on trial for a terrible crime, and to try and get a reduced sentence, they pretend they're like demented or crazy?
Oh, yeah.
I'm one of them. I've made so many predictions.
Got dementia.
Yeah, I've made so many bad predictions that I'm trying to get away with it somehow and pretend that I'm just crazy. So I predicted Brazil 4-2.
I'm not responsible for my predictions because, I wasn't.
I wasn't myself,
guys. I'm sorry.
All right, Bjorn or Zest here to come out. Next map will be Newkirk. I guess either is possible.
Send Zest.
You think Zest?
Send Zest at some point, like
as a scouting probe.
And Bjorn comes of course. Don't send Zest, he will lose. Obviously, he's not doing so well in PvT.
Zest will come out on Whirlwind as 5th map if he was to. All right, I guess Bjorn wanted to try his luck in TvT here on Newkirk.
I don't know.
It's pretty hard to proxy anything on Newkirk, like in terms of Reaper or even that Cyclone proxy we just saw. So maybe that he's like, you know what, in a straight-up game, I'm probably not going to lose to Calazur. Already kind of smacked him around earlier in the tournament.
And the thing is, like that proxy is not going to be able to defend itself because you're not producing any units before the reactor actually finishes. So yeah, for sure, a Reaper would be able to just destroy this entire strategy. So I'm guessing Calazur should not go for the same strategy here, even though it's still a TvT. It's going to be against Bjorn this time. Newkirk Precinct, pretty huge map. I hope, for Brazil's sake, that Calazur has something that different, something outside of the box once again, but just a tiny bit different to take an easy win against Bjorn.
Yeah, I think it's going to be needed as well. Bjorn is just so good. And here we go. Starting in the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing as the Red Terran, who's already sending out a couple SCVs on the map. It's of course Kelazur.
Kelazur will go for another proxy, but this time probably double racks into triple racks Reaper, like the same strategy he did against that guy in the first match. They were opposed to each other. For Korea, this is Bjorn as the blue Terran.
Practice makes perfect, Funka.
Yeah.
And he's practiced it more.
Can he make it happen this time on a slightly better map, I would say? I'm not even sure. Like, if you have to compare like Vanny and Newkirk Precinct, because that was the map that he used that triple Reaper strategy the first time. I don't know which one is the best. I would give a slight edge in that particular situation, particular proxy situation, to Newkirk Precinct. So we'll see if that that helps him defend in terms of build. Bjorn went for the gas first. We'll have that early factory, so should be able to produce that cyclone that actually shut down everything.
I thought it would be very risky to go for this.
Oh my god. Double Marauder?
Yeah. Alright, we haven't seen this in a while actually. Yeah, I thought it was going to be very risky for Kelazur to go for a proxy like this, just because he does it so often. He already did it against Bjorn last time, and I thought Bjorn was going to scout for sure. But there's always that mind game of, he won't expect me to do something crazy so many times in a row. So then you just still do one more of these builds, and the opponent doesn't actually scout it this time. I love how Kelazur scouts as well. He's like, everything's normal. I'm doing a normal build. I'm scouting you normally. Do not be alarmed. Don't worry about anything. Yeah, I got you.
Don't worry, Bjorn. Everything is fine.
I got you,
have
bro.
a factory at the opposite side of the map. It's actually double Marauder production, and he will reveal his strategy right now. Bjorn, with the Reaper outside of his main, it's gonna be hard for him to go back to the safety. He will take a couple of shots of that Marauder, but Concussive Shell has been skipped for the longest part, actually. Just started it now.
But I think he's going to line up very well with when the Cyclone is actually there. A lot of SCVs taking some damage. Bjorn can afford to lose some of these, but if he loses them all at once, though, that would be very bad. And eBay will have a lot of hit points here to actually help spotting on the high ground with this. Okay. And that bunker, unless Bjorn completes it, it's going to be really tough for him to hold. He's going to have to rely a lot on that Cyclone. Concussive Shell about to finish. It's not there yet, actually.
Yeah, it's not there yet, and that Cyclone already dealt quite a bit of damage to one of those Marauders. That will fall with those two Reapers going a little bit further away and trying to get those hits, those mines connecting to those Marauders. That's pretty nice for Beyond, who will now destroy that eBay, and that means no high ground vision for a Brazilian player as the bunker finishes.
Bjorn makes these defenses look so easy every time. Last time already on Vanny, really held convincingly, and now one more time so far. Doing everything right, getting that bunker, now he's got the Cyclone. And he just has to make sure he gets enough units not to die here against this. And Kelazur getting desperate. You can hardly transition out of this. He actually gets the Cyclone.
That's really great for Kelazur, and now the Reapers have to come out of the bunker. Nice connection with the mines and a tiny bit of a surround on that Marauder, but it will not fall. And that factory is not producing anything. Skipping the bunker was the proper decision from Kelazur. Those Reapers, they have to connect, and they connect super well. All those Marauders in low hit points, one in the green and two in the red. They will fall one after the other. But if we take a look at the supply count and in general the SCV count, it's 19 to 18. Obviously, technology-wise, Kelazur not doing so well, but still dealing some damage at the moment.
Yeah, he's still killing some SCVs here and there. There's only one Reaper left as a damage dealer here from the units of Bjorn, who right now he's only getting a Cyclone. That's it. Nothing else. He's getting a tech
Reaper
lab.
is dead. Oh! He dodged the last hits by going inside that bunker. Third Marauder will join the fray. One Cyclone will be here in a couple of seconds.
That bunker is actually low.
Yeah. He should. I guess he should target it right now, and that's what he's doing. That Cyclone will come out, but it's slowed because of the Concussive Shell. But nice repair from Bjorn.
And this
keeping
looks
it
like
alive.
It might be a hold for now. He's going to stabilize for a little bit. Banshee now starts. And a Widow Mine as well here from Bjorn, whereas we still got just purely Marauders, but at least Kelazur can start a starport here very soon, as he has the gas behind this.
He produced a Cyclone instead. It went for an eBay, so it knows that the Banshee tech is available. Gonna come up the ramp once again, but that Marauder low HP in the front, but that Cyclone, can he win the fight against two Marauders?
He's not preparing! Bjorn, what are you doing?
I guess like the SCVs were just too far away, and with concussive shell that would have been super tough. That Marauder will take a hit from that Widow Mine and will get one-shotted, trying to get that Tech Lab for a moment. No, will go for the mine once again. One SCV and one Marauder will not be enough to get that mine. Will get repaired, and nothing that hits on the opposite side of the map, and now he has to fly off with those two barracks. But
that SCV almost got another snipe there, but some turrets are gonna start. Kelazur fully knows that Bjorn will most likely be going for the... Well, he's got that one Banshee and he's going for his base. Is he gonna hidden expanse? I love the choice of flying back the barracks. Oh my god. He's actually gonna go for it. Because if he would have been making that, even on the left-hand side of his main or the natural, it just would have been so exposed from that Banshee. So taking it elsewhere is also gonna convince Bjorn that Kelazur wants to stay on one base for the longest time.
Oh, he's
and
actually...
if he... Yeah, I mean, there's a chance he flies through there, luckily, but it's quite unlikely still.
Yeah, the question is, like, can Innovation sniff it? Now he waits for the two lockdowns to go onto that Banshee until...
There's a scan.
And then he uses his cloak, but now, as you said, he will use a scan, get that Banshee out of the air, and now a second one will come, but in terms of SCVs, 27 to 25, no second CC on the way for Beyond, who will... keep on going on off of one base, and yeah, Kelazur doing super well for himself. I'm really, really impressed. Like going for different adaptations and different all-in builds against these two Terrans from Korea, and doing super well with them.
Bjorn very heavily underestimated this. He thought that he had the initial defense in the bag, and then after that he just let his Maulders go up the ramp. He could have walled off very easily, kept a couple SCVs there ready to repair. He just let Kelazur walk up that ramp, and now he found himself in a situation where he was behind on walkers. He's finally evened out a walker count, but there is that hidden expansion from Kelazur that's gonna boost his economy quite a bit.
And at the moment, as you said, Bjorn didn't sniff out that Ninja expand, and that means that in a few seconds we will have double orbital, which means double scan potential, but also mules. And yeah, economy-wise, he's not gonna do so well. And in terms of technology, Kelazur just climbed back this game super fast. That's a really good snipe if he can get that depot with the supply cooldown. He's not targeting properly, so he will have to escape. But if he does take down that depot, that's just a great target, because you don't want to get close to that tank, obviously, considering how hard it is.
Yeah. I think as soon as Kelazur reaches like 40-ish SCVs, starting another command center might be one of the things that he could do if he wanted to make sure, he keeps up with the economy even more, knowing that he's delayed that second at base from Bjorn so much. He transferred a lot of SCVs actually to the one expansion that he has top left, so it's that in terms of saturation there, like income-wise, he's doing great right now, and we see tanks being pumped out from both players. Steam Pack already started from Kelazur, and he's pumping out Marines as well.
Okay, he just took out that Widow Mine that was being quite annoying on that ramp.
He gets scans actually in the main.
Yeah, he did scan the main, and he sees that there's a lot of production building. He should know, like Bjorn right now should know that there is no way. Okay,
no.
He reveals it with an SCV, and there is no turrets from what I can tell on that second base.
Yeah, and cloaks available on that one Banshee here, so he might have to come back with his Cyclones to clean this up, but that Banshee should be able to get quite a few snipes there on these SCVs.
Yeah, he should evacuate. He actually used all his mules and all his energy on that second base, and those mules will, one, get taken down, and second, well, there should be scans. There should be scans right now, and he doesn't have any, so he's losing a lot of economy. That's such a huge mistake from Kelazur. I don't really understand.
You really should not be rallying any SCVs this way. And because of that, you revealed that one expansion, now waiting for a scan. He started Steam Pack quite a bit earlier. I feel like he threw away a big part of his lead there.
Yes, I do agree with you on this one.
And also, like, once this happens, you can be sure that Bjorn's micro is going to be perfect. Like that's what he's known for. He's going to make the most of that Banshee with 13 SCV snipes here.
Yeah, imagine if it was like right now 46 to 34. That's what it should be if he didn't lose those 13 SCVs. And as you said it, like most of his advantage he just threw away by just taking the wrong calls on that sequence against that Banshee. Then, funny thing is, that game started with the double racks proxy with Marauder pressure, and now if you look at it, if you take off the fact that it's 10 minutes into the game pretty much equalized itself, and it's gonna be Marine versus tanks, Marine and tanks versus Marine and tanks, like a usual TVT.
Yeah.
Can we take a look at the units tab? just for a second. Okay, so Beyond does have 2 more tanks than his opponent. It does have like 2 less Cyclones.
And that Raven.
And
super important.
Yeah, super important. Yeah, Raven indeed. You will try to go for a triple drop right now. Beyond doesn't have any vision here.
I have to say, Kelazor is quite relentless. He's the one putting on the aggression. He's putting it on these players there. He's gonna cover his drop with a couple Vikings there. There is a tank in position.
Oh, the 4 auto turrets have been used, and not a single medivac just fell down. He needs to siege those tanks. The steam is not available for Beyond, and 2 tanks will actually fall before even hitting once. And nice micro from Beyond, splitting his Marines, and that's such a nice defense considering how bad of a position he was in at the beginning. But he did lose 15 SCVs.
And he lost 15 SCVs. What is going on with Kelazor? This guy is playing amazing.
He will lose that many. Oh, that was so close. 10 HP, and now?
And no, he took the command center, by the way, on the natural now, did Kelazor. So he's keeping up with that. He could even fly his main orbital to a new base.
Oh! Trying to bait. But Cyclone will not get the last hit. And the medivac escaping to the left side. What a boss!
Wow.
Whoa, Kelazor. Kelazor is playing a
sick.
sick game. Sick game here. And getting that 3rd CC ahead. Well, the thing is, I mentioned about the drop earlier. I think the defense was quite good from Beyond, considering like he missed his 4 auto turrets in the beginning, but that his Marine Micro was good enough, so he didn't lose the game right away. But he did lose those 15 SCVs, and right now, once again, fighting an uphill battle.
This is scary because Beyond already had a tank lead. Now a couple tanks were thrown away by Kelazor. Even though he's looking to try and drop, this could ignite some sort of base trade, but already quite a few Marines are available at home from Beyond there.
1 tank against 6, 2 tanks against 6 as the second tank just came out. Apparently Beyond has freaking X-ray vision and could tell that this drop was coming even though he didn't have the vision. He just anticipated it super well, and that's a dead CC. And even a dead tank, he was not prepared. Kelazor didn't have the vision of anything whatsoever here. And Beyond not taking any risk, but I think he should have gotten for that tank like instantly. There is no defense, there is no Marines next to that tank.
Oh wow, he's actually trying to move up that ramp there against a crazy amount of tanks. Counter attack is going to be ignited on the other side of the map. The upgrades are +1 against +1, but combat shield's not finished yet for Beyond.
Okay,
Kelazor will just evacuate.
Okay, I think that CC is still alive, which is good for Kelazor, but now that 3rd base is awfully open and in a bad spot if Beyond decides to go for it, and Kelazor is not even waiting. He's like, okay, let's get the hell out of here. Lift that CC up and get some SCVs to a safe place to get some mining going for himself, because at the moment I don't think there is that many minerals in the main of Kelazor.
Beyond has quite a bit more army, and I think Kelazor knows it, so he's trying to take his time. He's also like in that very impossible situation where you know that you have quite a few units across the map that are missing from your main army and that were just being pushed back, so he's not able to counterattack so far with the double medivac and Marines that he's got across the map.
Alright, in terms of upgrades, the +1 armor will finish in a few seconds for Beyond, and Kelazor didn't even start it yet, so Beyond will have that army, that upgrade lead.
Beyond's command center hunting, and he's gonna find it.
And he will find it. That's too bad for Kelazor. I feel like he could have saved it, or at least
he might be getting
kept it in the air.
Look at this counter attack. There is a tank in position. It's just not gonna happen.
Oh, Beyond is so sick.
Oh, he's not gonna get it, maybe.
Okay, it's gonna burn. Yeah, it's gonna burn. He will eventually just die.
Some Marines just want to see the world burn, or just this command center.
And they made it pretty well right there. Starting the 2-1 upgrades from Kelazor's side. This is good for the Brazilian player.
Yeah, Beyond's already 1-1.
Yeah, but he's not starting 2-2 at the moment. I don't believe he has got an armory.
What's the tank counts right now? Because Beyond's got quite a bit more army. 9-4.
You will.
No.
Oh, can he get it? No. He will die before he gets to drop a mule. He needs to drop a mule from another CC. If he does that, right now that mule could be repairing. No! The entire studio is yelling no! Oh, that's a great interception! Beyond not reacting instantly and losing 2 medivacs with almost full units inside.
And the supply was evened a little bit here by this from Kelazor, who's gonna have to evacuate with this one. Oh, actually, he's gonna get chased.
Look at this army just coming from the left side. Some Marines, they wanted to see the world burn. Now they want to see that medivac explode in midair. And that has been done. No problem.
Still 9 tanks to 4, though. Oh man, what a game. Both players, I think, should be looking to try and fly that main orbital eventually to another base, but it's just been action-packed, and I think both players know that there's going to be a clash probably happening before that as well.
Oh, Doom drop to the main, and those Vikings are a little bit out of position, and those 3 tanks will be planted down, and he can't go with those Marines right now. One tank has arranged to fight off these other tanks, and now steaming a lot of Marines and getting 3 or 4 tanks for free. It just equalized the tank count in a matter of seconds. Those Vikings, they need to get to work though.
Yeah, he needs to keep on edging forward with his tanks as well.
What is he doing? He needs to get those
Trying
Vikings
to set
to
up
do
these
something.
tanks from afar to make sure he cannot let the Marines attack, but those tanks from Beyond are still attacking. In the meantime, counter drop. There's quite a few Marines in position for Beyond. He's not reacting.
Okay, he's looking, he's paying attention at the opposite side of the map, getting a tank for free, but also losing some medivacs, and at some point he will not have vision anywhere. Keep in mind, he could also blend out those Vikings on the ground and get a pretty decent fight on the bottom side of this.
There's still Marines everywhere though, even on low grounds.
6 SCVs fell, and
a lot of barracks actually were sniped there.
Great
the production of Kelazur is going to be weakened a lot by this.
This is going to be hard, and now leapfrogging the tanks up the cliff, and we'll take a nice position on the right side. We'll get some buildings, and even the CC threatened quite a bit. Even the factory could get hit at this moment, and getting that win with the Vikings is so important for Beyond. Now he's got full air control.
Yeah, Kelazur has a 1 upgrade lead, but way less army supply right now.
He needs to go for a fight, and he needs to go for it like quite fast. The thing is, he will be the one moving. I think Beyond will take his sweet time to achieve this, and obviously future is not looking good. We can see a huge team on those Marines, but there's so many tanks from Beyond. Kelazur has to pull back, but he did lose quite a bit of units right there.
Yeah, and Beyond being so patient with this. This also makes sure that there is basically no base, no third base being taken here, with that main orbital of Kelazur being kind of stuck in the main, even shot at by these tanks right now.
Yeah, the air control is just making it so easy for Beyond to take out all those key units. One tank was destroyed. He now loses the orbital in the main. That means way less scans once again, and not even an opportunity to get that vision up on the opposite side tanks. The 2-1 Marines will not cut it, I believe.
That counter-attack either. This is going to get cleaned up here by Beyond, who is looking fantastic now. It's almost as if Beyond sometimes wants a challenge, so he falls behind. Like in a lot of his games, he's like that. And then he just wins somehow because he's amazing. He's got this sick micro and positioning. And here, that final drop really did it for him.
Yeah, that was a cute play, going for the Doom drop into the main, and obviously sieging up those production buildings made it way easier for Beyond, and then winning the fight. Vikings against Vikings means that now he does pretty much what he wants, and Beyond will take it slow, lift off that main orbital, as you mentioned earlier. Will transition a little bit of SCVs from that main to that third location, and now taking his sweet time. 118 supply, sorry, against 87 in the Kelazur. That's already supply blocked. Like, there is nothing he can do at the moment. He's building 2 SCVs and 2 depots and 2 Marines. Nail in the coffin, maybe. Liberator coming from the left side. Kelazur reacts instantly. Will still lose a couple Marines. Didn't lose that much economy there.
He sniped all of the medivacs that were there for Beyond, but he knows that if he goes forward a little bit too early, a scan could be used by Beyond, and then these tanks will be shooting against the sieging ones from Kelazur. I love the sensor tower, by the way. I think it's really great to go for that when you know, like, one of the only ways the opponent could somehow come back is through like a lot of multi-pronged attacks with these medivac drops. So Beyond wants to make sure he's got his bases covered.
And kudos to Kelazur, just not dropping out of this game yet, even though he knows he's not in a bad spot. He knows that he has to perform for Brazil to make it through and get to the round of 8. But yeah, GG. Beyond takes out those 2 remaining tanks in the main, which means Starport Barracks and Factory will never produce a single unit. And that was GG.
Yeah, and now Brazil will be down to one last revive player.
Yeah.
Most likely going to be Kelazur here to try again after this, but that Beyond guy just will not die. It's insane. Like,
It's crazy.
Kelazur put in some sick effort. He did damage all over the place, but somehow, if you don't finish Beyond, he's somehow going to find a way to come back. And this is what happened there. He stayed patient, picked his fights, cleaned up a couple of the drops of Kelazur, realized he had way more tanks, went for the counter-attack. Like Nathaniel Swan said, when there's way more tanks, well, the guy who's got less tanks might as well be playing from his coffin.
Nice bait on the Medivac, managing to save the one with 3 Marines inside and only 5 HP. That was one of the biggest mistakes I believe Kelazur made at the beginning of that counter-attack from Beyond, is giving away a couple of Marines, about 11. That was a great pickoff, might have made the game a little bit closer, but when Beyond, like, that's the thing with Beyond, he's got everything that you need from a perfect Terran, I guess a perfect pro gamer in general. He's got that army control that never ceases to amaze, even though he's microing like 2 or 3 units or an entire army, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He will still, get the full potential of every single unit he has, and never cease to believe that he can win this game, because he was really, really down after that double Rax proxy.
I'm a bit surprised he misread the situation like this, though, because the initial hold was beautiful. Like, he got the bunker on the high ground, and it's like, well, should Kelazur really be still trying this? Because it's not going to work. But then, like, Beyond highly underestimated. The Marauders get up the ramp. He gets, like, a bunch of Cyclone sniped by Concussive Shell and these Marauders. So that was really unconventional.
Yeah, unconventional, but also really great. Really great idea. He had a shot. It was quite close from breaking Beyond in this game, but as you mentioned, that guy just never stops to try and get back into this game, and getting all those engagements going just slightly in favor of Beyond.
Breaking Beyond.
Yeah, breaking Beyond is going to be super hard, and it would be a great show too. We will be waiting for the last player from Brazil to be announced, so the revive should be Kelazur, right?
Yeah,
100%. We'll
surprise,
still wait.
it's Master.
If it is, I would be happy.
Master, like, he did all right, to be honest, but not particularly against Terran. So
yeah,
I think it was against Zerg that he showed good things.
Yeah, and in the the eventuality of Kelazur winning this game against Beyond, then he would have to play against Zest, and we know Zest is not a huge fan of
right
PvT.
now, right?
Yeah, he's a free win. He's a freebie. Stefano from Korea in Nation Wars 4. Zest will probably get a lot of money without winning a single game. Now we'll see.
He's watching right now. Is that these guys are dead to me.
We should not make fun of Zest, because he will be coming back with his handsome personality.
It's funny because it's only 2 games as well, and people are like, oh, he doesn't have it anymore. No, it's not like that. Zest is still pretty good, but we expect more from him than just losing 2 games in this Nation Wars. Kelazur, the revived player, as expected. It's going to be a rematch against Beyond here and on Whirlwind.
Whirlwind, as you mentioned
Okay,
earlier.
so 4 players map. Tricky one. Probably no proxy, but
yeah,
you never know.
Getting ahead with a proxy in the beginning of a TVT in Whirlwind will be quite surprising, but to think about it, Kelazur has been pretty surprising ever since the beginning of this best of 7 against Korea. We will go into a quick commercial break, and when we come back, TVT between Beyond, and Kelazur. See you. And here we are back with Brazil, having a little bit of trouble against Korea. And to be honest, we can't really hold it against them. Korea is a pretty strong nation in Starcraft.
I've heard that, yes.
Yeah?
I think that's true.
It's a little bit in the air,
Yeah, you can't blame him. But Kelazur actually had a pretty cool games, man. Like the first game, obviously a win. Not everyone expected that against Innovation. I actually thought he could. I really did. I obviously preparing for TVT, knowing this match is coming. And Innovation isn't exactly as perfect as everyone says he is, but Beyond, that game was actually the most fun. For sure. Like, that was the opener, 2 racks, Proxy Marauder. I've seen the Proxy Racks Marauder, obviously. And I've seen, even once or twice in Legacy of the Void.
With only 1 racks?
Even with only 1. But then there's the second variation, which is what you're thinking of, which is the Marauder and the Reaper. So 2 Marauders was quite clever, but of course on Whirlwind, I don't think we'll be seeing any proxies.
All right, let's introduce those players. He's the revived player for Brazil. He's the red Terran in the top left. Everything is on his shoulders. Kelazur.
And in the top right is the blue Terran for South Korea. He is Beyond.
All right, so we're on Whirlwind this time. It's going to be super hard, obviously, to go for a cheeky proxy, or else you would have to do it around the Zelnaga portion of this map, I would say. But yeah, this is not going to happen this time. They're just going to be going for that super intense one base, I would say, build up. You will get some units, you will have all those technological units available to you, and then you can try and position your opponents. But doing so against Bjorn seems like almost mission impossible.
Kind of. I think Kelzer has a lot of faith in his micro. Obviously, Bjorn does too. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kelzer is, you know what, I can actually take Bjorn on in a micro game early on. Because I think just like he has before. These guys have played not exactly super often, but often enough that Kelzer has a good feeling probably of what he can do versus Bjorn. It is very similar builds, down to the second Reaper and the Cyclone coming out. Starport timing is pretty similar too. Reaper is going to get this, well, and then almost run into his own grenade. That would have been awkward, but yes, Kelzer's Reaper did get an advantage there. He's going to continue chasing.
It's going to be hard to get the kill, and Kelzer will not even going to try to go up that ramp. That would have been suicidal, obviously, considering the next step of this build is getting a second Reaper, but he needs to go out of here, because 2 Reapers against 1 is not a fight you want to take, even though you've got amazing micro, and that mine will connect, and will connect with both Reapers. And actually, if he believed and actually anticipated the angle that the second Reaper would have gone through, he could have killed it.
Yeah, Reaper fights, of course, always so interesting to look at, but rarely do they actually snowball to do something significant. It's always a potential, though. We have a Banshee opener from Bjorn, and Kelzer is going to have a very nice defensive setup with his Raven, but he's being quite aggressive with the units he has right now. Unfortunately, takes more damage on his Reaper.
We'll have to wait for the regeneration to hit, and that Reaper will go back to full health. There's going to be a mine that's been crafted out of that factory at the same time as I believe Kelzer went for a Hellion himself, not a mine. Yeah, that's a Hellion that just came out. CC will go down about the same timing. It's almost perfectly mirrored on this one. But Cloak Banshee on one side from Beyond, and that Raven. So let's see, because the way we see Raven these days is more so like, I'm gonna go through the opposite side of the map and just throw down some turrets. For now, he keeps it defensively. That's good for Kelzer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Of course, Bjorn follows up with a Raven, which isn't too surprising nowadays either. Unfortunately, I would have minded didn't burrow. Maybe could have gotten that Banshee very, very low, but get a lock on. Of course, Cyclone doesn't do very much damage against air anymore, and Kelzer is not going to try and get any more damage done with the auto turret. Just lets that Banshee leave, but it's a nice defense. And of course, he has the CC on the low ground. Stalled out a little bit here. It's still going to match up pretty even.
Yeah, it should be even, considering, Bjorn didn't build his command center on the low ground. Tanks on both sides. A little bit of a tiny advantage for Beyond. Will now do the switcheroo of add-ons with Tech Lab going on to that rack. Starport will build another reactor, so not building anything from that Starport for quite a bit, but will accelerate the rate at its barracks gets built right now, with 2 on the way to make it 3 in total. The Reaper is trying to hide a Widow mine. That was cute.
Yeah.
That's going to be a Marine taking its place.
I like that.
Come in and get that Marine. See how vulnerable it is? Or maybe it's not.
I do like that little maneuver right there. It might work out pretty well. I think he's a free Marine and then ends up getting a Widow Mine to the face. The Raven Viking combo is absolutely going to take care of the southern portion of Kelzer's main base too, and that Banshee really shouldn't be doing very much. Kelzer is going to put a lot of emphasis onto a starport, 2 Vikings at a time already.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that side of TVT when you put that emphasis on the starport and get those Vikings out as fast as possible. It makes it for the other player that didn't go for that strategy a little bit hard to get back on that Viking war, which is so important in TVT because of the increased range that it gives to tanks. As you guys know, they hit further than they see. But you did say that the southern portion was quite safe, but in the end didn't work out that way, and Kelzer is losing SCVs because he moved his Vikings and Raven away. Yeah,
that was pretty good timing by Bjorn. It was as soon as the Vikings really left, so 8 SCVs in total. Ooh. That's really nice. Okay, 10 overall, but 8 from that Banshee. That's really good.
And the Cyclone at the same time in the middle of the map. Kelzer wasn't paying attention to his Cyclone, obviously, because he was losing 8 SCVs at the opposite side of the map. So Kelzer already in a pretty tough spot, I would say, considering he's got about 10 SCVs less. Yes, he's got the Vikings, but I believe in terms of tanks it's quite even, but also is really down in terms of Marine count. So this push that's coming in here needs to deal a little bit of damage to equalize this game.
I would say that T would really wish that Bjorn is a little more surprised by this push. Unfortunately, of course, they wouldn't mind scouting everything. But Kellizer is doing a push that Bjorn killed him with 2 days ago, last time this group played, and that was on Overgrowth, which has a lot more of an abusive position. Here, of course, without Medivacs, there's not actually that much to be scared of. Like, sure, the tank could siege up and start shelling away, but you just pull back for a second, and what more can they really do? So Kellizer takes position, but now all of his army's over here. So Bjorn, I think, wisely picks up whatever units he can, and is going to go across the map.
Instantly, Bjorn sees the opportunity to go and attack on the back lines. Those tanks, they sieged up quite a bit too late, and he doesn't have vision. He needs to use that scan, but will lose one tank for nothing. And he's actually wondering what he should do with those 2 medivacs. We saw them going back and forth on the minimap, but he will go with the aggression. About 12 Marines and a Cyclone will try and get some damage done. And at the same time, we've got a retreating Kellizer with some tanks that get chased by Marines, and he will lose all of them. No! The auto turrets. He actually respected them.
No, he's still going to lose a lot here, this ground army. There's something they can deal with it. Kellizer tries to be sneaky with a push, but I don't know about the map choice. And, of course, getting out-positioned as Bjorn knew exactly what was going to happen. And now Kellizer just has to be purely defensive. This is a pretty bad start for Kellizer, pretty bad mid-game, I suppose. I don't think his stim is quite done, not that he really has a lot of Marines to use it. And, of course, he did lose a couple of really key tanks there as well.
Yeah. Almost down 30 supply. CC on location for Bjorn. Kellizer has got a pretty nice advantage in terms of third CC, but I don't know if he's going to be able to use it anytime soon, considering the pressure he's under. There is the entire map is actually Bjorn's at the moment. He's spreading Marines. He's got his army positioned right now in a pretty aggressive stance, and it's soon to be sieging up that natural, getting the scan so he knows where he should bring these scans. And as I say that, he actually butchers his micro and his positioning for a moment. Bjorn wants to finish this game, and I don't believe he will be able to. Those 3 tanks shelling away at everything. Vikings coming back, and Bjorn literally messed up this one.
That was super weird. I kind of saw the idea with the auto turret behind, but why lead with only 1 tank? That should have been the Marines plus the auto turret. That was just super weird. But Bjorn still leads 10 army supply, and he has faster upgrades. Yeah, he will have faster upgrades even as Kellizer gets double upgrades. His combat chill will be finished soon. Of course, his third CC is already on location. Something Kellizer scans. He could try and send a medevac over there. Hope that Bjorn can use being over aggressive. But just a couple Marines.
I guess, yeah, Kellizer really needed something like this to happen, something to get back into this game, and it wasn't Kellizer's fault in this time, or Kellizer's, I don't know how to phrase that. Like, he wasn't the one that did that, that reversed that situation. It was more Bjorn just messing up a little bit of his attack. And at the same time, we need to take into account that Bjorn is taking a pretty sweet position, but once again, getting 2 tanks a little bit, out of position and getting them sniped. But if he does take on that CC, it will change everything.
Okay, he is going to get a repair, and I think the tanks can cover it just in time, but that was getting a little bit too low. That was a little uncomfortable, but Kellizer ends up holding once again. We have a drop from Bjorn, looking to maybe go towards the natural or get behind Kellizer's army.
I think the natural is wide open. I don't see any turrets. Once again, like the speed at which Bjorn is able to recognize that he can jump on a tank and lose just a couple of Marines for it is just astonishing to me. He does that super, super well, and now he used to be 30 supply, and now at the same time we are running by with 16 Marines, Zerg style. Kellizer in Brazil, this is gonna be hard, guys. 14 SCVs just dropped down, and obviously Bjorn not losing a single Marine while preventing that third base from being mined from.
Yeah, that was losses that Kellizer really couldn't take. Of course, he was already having trouble getting his third base, but now even further down in that SCV count. Bjorn is just running away with a macro, now up 30 army supply, still with faster upgrades, even upgrading his tanks and getting a second factory. This just looks quite bad for Brazil. I mean, Kelzer after that. Oh, no. Oh, that's
It
going to go
needs a
down.
miracle, and that's not the one I was mentioning. Not losing your third CC while not being able to do anything with it, not even dropping a mule or using it for a scan. So I guess Kelzer is forced in a position where he needs to hold in, and obviously Björn already knows, sets up some tanks in a really cool defensive position, and will evacuate the army that he has on the left side. Evacuates? Well, maybe more attacking with it, like the YOLO Terran that he is.
Yeah. There's nothing back at home for Kelzer, and now Kelzer really just has to all in. He's going to go for a Doom Drop in the main base, and almost loses a medevac for it. Oh, no, this isn't going to work.
This is just awful. Björn surrounds the entire army, and that last-ditch attempt from Kelzer will fail. GG gets called, and Björn and Korea makes it to the round of 8.
Yes, they do. Something that everyone expected, but at least Kelzer gives some really cool games. I was going to say before the game ended, basically, that last game between him and Björn was actually super fun. There was a lot of potential in Kelzer to actually win the game. And, well, I mean, there's a few choice moments where maybe he could have won the game, but unfortunately loses and then has, I think, a worse game on Whirlwinds. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, too bad for Kelzer. That also showed that he was able to beat Innovation with a really cute all-in build that he used in Game 3. Also tried the same, something along those lines with another really early game all-in against Beyond. And that game, Game 4, was really, really cool if you didn't get to see it. Even though it didn't work out so well for Kelzer in the end. A good fight. They put up a good fight. Even Masters and Eric, I would say, didn't look bad at all. They were just outmatched a little bit, but this is something that you anticipate when you face against South Korea as the top nation in this group, because once again it is called Group Korea. They will not take the first place. They will take second place after Canada, and a really great Scarlett that played yesterday.
Yeah, she definitely. Yesterday or
the day before.
Yeah, day before. But anyways, yeah, she definitely played very well. Brazil, I think, surprised a lot of people by just taking out Sweden, so that's already like cool for them. But of course, they really wanted to get to the round of 8 and continue playing tomorrow, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be South Korea.
It will be South Korea, and that's also a really tough opponent. If you're first of your group, you feel like you dodged a bullet, and then suddenly you might be about to face South Korea. Innovation, Beyond, and Zest, obviously not a really cool sight. But this is not the end of the night, guys. Today, we finish up both the last groups. So we did Group Korea, and now we're about to jump into Group Poland. Let's see the bracket for a moment. Mexico, actually doing super well. I tried three pronunciations of the on the country right there. That was really, really bad. I apologize. Mexico taking down France 4-3, and that was more I would say less anticipated, beating Poland 4-3.
Yeah, that was something that's, I guess I believed in, of course, but even I was like, well, only if Major does really well. And then he did really well. So.
He did. He did. Even Sham getting a win against France in the beginning against Marine Lord, who's not obviously the same player he was 8 months ago, but we could see a resurgence of this with the next game, who will be the losers match of this group. You can already vote for both teams. This is either Aita win or Fra win. It's written on your screen, so I don't have to really pronounce it more than this. Yes, France versus Italy will be the first game. Rainer and his teammates against Stefano, Drogo, and Marine Lord. And this will be after this quick commercial break. So obviously, don't go anywhere. Get on Twitter. Get that hype going. And we will be coming back with that match in a few minutes.